Now we're going to move to the Harmony One. Okay, so when you do start seeing commercials about this, you'll be well informed. But this is it. I'm going to show it to you for a little bit, then I'm going to pass it around so you can play with it. I'll tell you in all honesty, this thing is so popular, we've sold so many of them, that I work for the company and I couldn't even get one for my own sample account to give away to anyone here at the event today. That's how popular. This is actually mine from home. So I had to pull out my old remotes from a drawer and leave them with my girlfriend.
Nice little note.
And he's the national account manager, and he doesn't even have one. So yeah, this is actually programmed to my system at home. So forgive the fingerprints, okay? But nonetheless, this is very unique. First of all, it is only infrared, it's not RF. But it's unique in the sense that it has two grip zones because it's a color touch screen. It's a hybrid, color touch screen and also push button. So for my activities, I just hit activities, and this I just can touch and go backwards and forward. And then I hit an activity, press play game. It tells me to keep the remote pointed in the direction of the system. Then if I want to get out of that and just go to devices, I can select device right down here, and then say I select TV, and all the buttons, and this is true for all the Harmony remotes, all of the buttons that are on my original remotes are actually mapped into the screen automatically, simply from telling us what's in your system. Okay, you don't have to set any of that up. It's automatically put in there. And then I can just scroll backwards and forwards to get to what I want to. If I want to change the aspect ratio, which is usually the most frequent thing I do on TV, because every DVD I seem to get has a different aspect ratio, I've got to be zooming in and changing the aspect. It drives me nuts. Does it drive you nuts?
Yeah.
It's just such a pain. It's like, why can't you just stick with one format? You know, it's really a drag. But that's the most common one. Now, in my setup, and I haven't changed it yet, but it's the last page, right? So I have to scroll through a couple pages to get to aspect ratio. You can also go into your device and you can change where that button shows up when you hit device. If you want that to be the first button that shows up on TV, you can go into this menu for your device and just drag and drop wherever you want it to land. Okay, so really super cool. The other thing that's nice about this remote control is that the buttons are laid out very differently. They're wider spaced and they're sculpted in such a way that you can really kind of learn what it's like in the dark. Now it is backlit, okay? Can you turn the light out for just a moment? So, thank you, man. So you can see the white lights. See how bright that is? Even in this room, there's still some light, but it's pretty bright in a dark room. Thanks, man. You can turn it back on. So like the record button, that's something you would not want to hit by accident, right? So that's flush. The OK button, which you hit most of the time, especially for DVR, for Rob and I do a lot of DVR, it's right in the center and it's raised the highest. The fast forward and chapter forward and back button, those are a little different. They're close, but one has a little knob on the top of it so you'll know which one is which. And then you can just sort of see the other, like the play button is really large and it's sculpted up. So I'll pass it around so you can kind of play with it. The other cool thing about this is it has a magnetic charging base. So this is the charging base here. And when you set it down in the actual charging base, you can kind of feel it pull in, so you know it makes that contact and it's always recharging. So this thing does suck a lot of juice. It has a lithium-ion battery. So the battery itself will last for about 3.5 to 4 years. It comes with it. If you do have to replace it, today it's like 15 or 20 bucks. Probably in 3 or 4 years it'd probably be $5 or so. But it lasts for about, I'd say, a good week and a half if I were to not put it in the cradle, because it does suck a lot of juice. Plus I have the backlight timer on the max, which is 30 seconds. You can change that too. If you go into my preferences, you can change it from 5 seconds to 30 seconds. You know, you can do the same thing on your cell phone, so we've incorporated that into this as well. Well, how many components does it really control, right? So we have about 225,000 plus home theater components in our database. Going back to about, from today, well actually 2 months from today, because we do work with all these vendors, whether it be JVC, Sony, Panasonic, what have you, we usually have the operability codes in our database about 2 months before the products actually hit the store shelves, going back to about 15 years. So anything that you bought from J&R or acquired from some other retailer, what have you, very, very likely that it will actually be controlled properly and we won't have any issues.